As you already know that yesterday, China came out and said that they'll be lifting off the COVID lockdown restrictions that were in Shanghai today. We read some wonderful news coming from Nio indicating that from tomorrow, guys, they will be resuming with the deliveries of their cars in Shanghai, which is something that is incredible because you remember that Shanghai, guys, it's one of the cities in China where Nio have quite a number of customers. I think Shanghai, in terms of sales, it constitutes to, I think, around just over 15%, which is something that is incredible. And getting to see that Shanghai, the deliveries, Nio is going to continue with the deliveries from tomorrow. It's one of the things that, of course, makes us to be excited to see that June is one of that month that we are going to see Nio reporting some good delivery numbers. Now, you remember that this lockdown in Shanghai was seriously impacting stocks like Nio, which is why they were not delivering as much, because apparently deliveries were not even allowed in the city. And getting to know that Nio, in terms of sales or deliveries, Shanghai constitute just over 15%. It is one of the things that, as to a Nio investor like you and me, it must be a concern, or was a concern. Now, to get to see that finally they'll be starting with the deliveries tomorrow, it is one of the things that is, of course, excites retail investors like myself to continue loading the boat whenever we can onto this Nio stock, because this is a stock which is just set to do very well. Now, we read that vehicles to be delivered from tomorrow left the Jack Nio factory and they are off to Shanghai so that they can get to be delivered. So these vehicles were basically shipped from Jack Nio to Shanghai, which is something that will make us to see the deliveries coming in. And you'll remember that with Shanghai yesterday, as I've told you, we read that the demand, though these deliveries were sort of like stopped in Shanghai, or car deliveries were stopped in Shanghai, the demand from the orders in Shanghai never stopped. We saw that in May, Nio reported, or Nio came out and said that the orders that came from Shanghai were pretty amazing, or were looking good, which is something that must just show you that regardless of the lockdown, regardless of Nio not being able to deliver their cars in Shanghai, the orders were still coming in, which is something that must just show you that this is a company that, regardless of the lockdown, regardless of whether Nio was not delivering, they continue to have a solid ground in Shanghai, which is one of the things that must motivate you to stay long onto this Nio stock. Now, we read that 14 out of 27 Nio spaces in Shanghai were or have been in operation, with 8 more spaces going to open tomorrow, and the last remaining 5 will open on the 3rd, which is something that has to show you that it means that after the 3rd, or just day after tomorrow, which is on Friday, all the Nio spaces in Shanghai will be in full operation, which is something that, of course, must just make you to see that we will get to see Nio doing really good coming to the deliveries, or to the June deliveries, which is something that I'm looking very much forward to, because I know, like I said in yesterday's video, to say that June deliveries are going to be massive. June deliveries are going to be robust. And of course, one of the things that, of course, I will of course really like to hear from Nio is that, or is the progress of their upgrading, or of the second phase upgrading from their Jack Nio factory, because we had, or Nio had told us that the second upgrade are going to be finished around the first half of 2022. And getting to see that now we are in June, I will probably like to hear, I would really like to hear the updates from Nio. I personally believe that we might get to see them on Nio's Q1 earnings, which are set to take place yesterday. So those are, or these are some of the news that I will be closely looking to, because remember that Jack Nio factory second phase upgrades will make the Jack Nio factory to Jack Nio factory's capacity to be around 300,000 with double shifts, which is something that is incredible, and is going to make sure, or make Nio to deliver even more cars just before their big factory Nio Park start with production in September. Now, of course, we read that for Nio to be fully, or to open those other stores, they will need a PCR test of between 48 to 72 hours to be able to be permitted to continue with the work there in Shanghai, which I believe that it is not, or it's not supposed to be a concern. I personally believe that Nio will be able or should be able to produce that easily. Now, for those of you that know Nio, you will know by now that not only do they just sell these EV cars, but they also offer a service called BaaS, or battery as a service, which entails their consumers or clients going to a battery substations and getting their batteries changed in less than 4.5 minutes, which is something that is incredible. Now, another thing, now those of you that have been following Nio, you remember that Nio, not only do they sell cars, but they also offer a service called BaaS, which entails their clients or consumers going to a battery substation to get their battery changed or swapped in their vehicle in less than 4.5 minutes. So we got to read that Nio today will reopen 50 out of 73 of their battery swap stations in Shanghai. As you already know that in March, Nio came out and did disclose to us that in Shanghai they currently have 73 battery swap stations. Now, to get to see that 50 of those swap stations are going to get, or are going back to life today, it's one of the things that will make those, of course, that are driving the Nio cars in Shanghai to enjoy this kind of a service, which is one of the things that I personally believe that it should encourage you to remain bullish, because this is one of the things that makes Nio to stand out, or such a service as BaaS. It makes Nio to stand out when comparing to the other EV industry. Nio, it is a leader of battery as a service, which entails battery substations. Nio, it is the only automaker that is offering this kind of a service, which is one of the things that, of course, must motivate you to remain bullish and stay long onto this Nio stock, because, like I said, this kind of service, not only does it swap or able to swap a battery in less than 4.5 minutes, but should there be anything wrong with batteries, they don't have to recall their cars back. They don't have to recall all their cars back to the Nio factory, but all they need to do is just to put the correct batteries, or the batteries that they would want to use, and call all their Nio clients to go to a battery swap station and get their batteries changed, which is one of the things that, getting to see that lately or recently, we've been seeing some of the EV companies recalling their cars, some due to these battery problems. It's one of the things that makes me to be comfortable and wants me to continue to remain bullish onto this Nio stock, because in Nio there's no need to recall cars. You just call the clients, or call the Nio clients, to go to battery swap stations and get their batteries changed in less than 4.5 minutes, ladies and gents. Now, getting to know that Nio will be starting with the deliveries in Shanghai tomorrow, it's one of the things that I personally believe that it's just amazing, because again, one of the good things that Nio has the #1 market share of around 23% of all the petrol or gas / EV SUVs, which is something that must just show you that Nio, when it comes to SUVs, they are seriously dominating Shanghai with 23%, which is something that I personally believe that getting to know or see that Nio is going to be fully functional probably 2 days from now, starting from tomorrow. It's one of the things that, of course, must just motivate you to continue or remain bullish onto this Nio stock. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I should just give you this quick video about the latest developments around Nio. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting that like button and subscribe. That's if you're not subscribed to the channel already, and click that notification bell. Otherwise, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing into this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and see you in my next video, and God bless you all.